Hello, and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by three guys who have never been on the turf. It's good to be back. My name is Arjun.
I'm Sri Balmkanda.
And I'm Rohan Patel.
And it's been a couple months for us. We basically got through the entire summer. Not much NFL news happened since the draft, but the season is just a month away, I think, basically. And
preseason started.
Preseason is starting this week. I think by the time this episode goes out, preseason will already have started. And we're starting with a new change of this episode. I'm here with Sri for the first time because I felt Sri was getting left out, just me and Rohan together all the time. So
yeah, I was feeling it, but I'm glad that we're starting this season with me being part of the two people, and then Rohan being left out.
Don't worry. Next week I'll be back.
Next week.
Yeah, I was about to say next week, Sri, you're going to be back by yourself, and Sri's going to be in a new location soon.
Yeah, Sri's going to be moving to college.
Yeah, I'm so
congrats
excited.
to Sri on going to Washington and Jefferson with Temple Med School right after, right, Sri?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited, but it turns out that my high school is double the size of my college, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how that'll be. But I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? Just 2 years ago, Rohan Sri was just a budding high schooler. Now he's a college student.
Just 2 years ago, Arjun, we were in our freshman dorms, and now that's going to be Sri doing the podcast from his little freshman dorm, and come a long way.
Season 3, baby.
We also have a podcast studio at our college too.
Oh, perfect.
So I might use that just like you guys did.
And maybe you'll bring a friend like I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you have room for 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff we haven't talked about as much, even in the off season when we started season 3. So let's kick it off with the fun segment, right?
Yeah.
We love predictions here. We love talking about the different things that may or may not happen. I mean, I just want to say, if we're talking about predictions, I clearly, outclass Sri. You're pretty good about predictions.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Rohan
good.
is very strongly.
Let's not forget in season 1, 2 years ago, I won the predictions. I won. Okay, I just fell off this year.
2 picks. I just want to say I did predict the entire playoff bracket last year.
I also predicted the Super Bowl winner and finalist for that year before the playoffs even started. So I think I
predicted. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We can stop measuring.
But I think we can both agree that Rohan is number 3.
Anyway, so let's kick it off with a fun segment. Buy, sell, or hold. So I'm going to give you guys some NFL statements, some stuff that might happen this season.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them crazy, some of them less crazy. But you tell me, if you're buying this, if you feel it's going to happen, sell, no way, not going to happen, or hold, maybe there's a chance here. Maybe, this prediction has some weight to it.
Okay.
All right, so first, a lot of talk about the Bears. We kicked off season 3 talking about the DJ Moore trade. Justin Fields and the Bears coming into the season, a lot of expectations. I think they have the biggest jump of winning odds of any team from last year to this year. Win over under a 7.5. But I want to ask you guys about Justin Fields himself. Obviously, he's a human highlight reel, but this year is he going to take it off for more? Buy, sell, or hold. Justin Fields will be a top 10 quarterback at the end of this season.
Yeah. I'll honestly confidently buy on that. Confidently buy on that. I think last year we saw some flashes, and we know how horrendous that offensive line was. We know that he had a lack of weapons, but now you're pairing him with a borderline top 10 receiver in DJ Moore. You're pairing him up with a better defense, and I think that Justin Fields just has more confidence going into this season than he has last season. Right? Every single quarterback just needs that experience. He's already gone through the bad. The good is supposed to come. And we've already seen flashes of it, so I think those flashes will, be here to stay, and I think, I'll buy on that, yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to sell. So if we're talking fantasy-wise, I'm buying Justin Fields as a top 10 quarterback easily. But if we're talking real quarterback-wise, I'm selling. And I think Justin Fields will make a leap. I think he was flashy, made a lot of good plays. I think objectively his quarterback play was definitely bottom half. I think he'll jump into the top half this year. Top 10 is a little bit too far for me. I think there's going to be players who are leading their team to the playoffs. There's going to be players who are well established. I mean, come on, you got your Mahomeses, you got your Hurts, Allens, Burrows, Rodgers, even Tagovailoa. I think there's a lot of other quarterbacks who are going to be higher than them just because their team is better and they have better.
Tua in that group.
I did put Tua. Good catch. I'll put Lamar in there too. But there's a lot of players who I think are established. They have more talent around them. and that'll make them a top 10 quarterback. I think Justin Fields has potential to be in the future, but I don't think he's quite there yet. And a lot of that is due to the fact that there are teams that have better weapons around him, and we're really counting on DJ Moore to elevate his play a lot. And I don't think that DJ Moore can do all of that at once.
For me, this is as hold as holding can go. I think for me, Justin Fields, it's a boomer bust this year.
Yeah.
I saw someone say, I'm not going to take credit for the statement. Someone else said on the show recently, Justin Fields will either be uniformly a top 10 quarterback at the end of this year, or we'll view him as a backup by February. And I really don't think there's any in between here for Justin Fields, because it's either he's a good passer or he isn't, and we're going to see this year. So I'm going to hold. I'm rooting for him because I think he's a really fun player to watch, and I think DJ Moore deserves to get his due. So hopefully this year he takes off, but hold for me on this one. All right, next one. This is a fun one. The Jets have a big spotlight on them. At the time we're filming this, Hard Knocks is about to come out, I think, tonight. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers in town. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about this in the next couple weeks. But I want to talk about the biggest player probably on the defensive side for the Jets. Sauce Gardner, obviously Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. My opinion, the best corner in the league. So, buy, sell, or hold, Sauce Gardner will win Defensive Player of the Year this year. This is a buy for me. I feel like if Sauce plays as well as he did last year, he'll have the spotlight, he'll have the narrative. I think I think he'll win this year. Even comparison to some of the edge rushers who usually get the love for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think I'll buy this year as well. Not to copy Arjun or anything. I know we have a lot of overlapping opinions, but I'll buy as well. I think that, as a rookie, being the best corner in the league, I feel like it's not given enough credit. There are a lot of veterans in the league that we have. Like Jalen Ramsey, we have Xavier Howard. We have so many amazing corners in the league. Probably so many that he has to compete against, within his own division. That I don't think we bring enough value to the actual achievement that he had in his rookie season. And I think the fact that him as a rookie was able to compete as a Defensive Rookie of the Year with other edge rushers that were still amazing rookies just proves that I think that he can win the Defensive Player of the Year. I think that, again, the corner probably doesn't have as much, I feel competition in terms of on the field. Actually, wait, delete that. Never mind, I'm not going to say it. But I'm just going to say that he's done it in the past, and I feel like I'm confident that he's going to do it in the future. You said good.
No, I'm going to sell that. I don't understand the hype there. First, I think Sauce is really good, but I mean, I don't calling him the best corner in the league is a bit of a stretch to me.
It's almost I think most grading scales graded him as the best corner in the league last year.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about Jalen Ramsey, one of the best run stoppers. I know he's not going to be playing.
Get out of 2019 now.
Jalen's pretty good. Like Shree was saying, you still got your Xavier Howards, your Darius Slays, a lot of other good corners out there.
Yeah, very good.
What'd you say?
Pat Surtain.
Pat Surtain, yeah. I mean, hell, even there's I don't think these arguments are valid, but there's arguments about whether Sauce is even the best quarterback or cornerback in his class. When you talk about Tariq Woolen, I think Sauce is better. Don't get me wrong, but I think Tariq is up there in that is in that top 10 cornerback conversation. And the other thing, though, is that I just think that Defensive Player of the Year is turning into a very edge rusher heavy award. I mean, none of y'all said it. I don't know why I have to say it, but I mean, TJ Watt should be at the top of your guys' mind.
Rohan, don't come for me for TJ Watt. I'll talk about TJ
I don't know. It's just I would expect a true Steelers fan to say that. You have, I think, the most dominant edge rusher in the league.
I appreciate that.
No, I mean, listen, I'm not capable of being unbiased. I mean, TJ Watt. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year for 2 seasons ago for a reason.
Should have won 3 seasons ago as well.
Yeah, sure, whatever. He's dominant he's dominant. We saw the impact when he wasn't playing for you guys. I think he's heavily above Sauce in that conversation. Nick Bosa is above in that conversation. Even Myles Garrett is above in that conversation. So is Micah Parsons. There's a lot of people that, because of the position they play, they're afforded the opportunity to get the stats that Defensive Player of the Year needs. So there's no world in which I am betting on Sauce Gardner to win that. I think he's very good, but I don't think he's winning that award.
All right, now moving to Minnesota. Shree, probably one of your favorite players in the league, if not your favorite. Justin Jefferson. Universally, I think we can all agree the best receiver in the league. I think we could all agree on that. But will he be, buy, sell, or hold, he will be the first player to hit over 2,000 yards in one season. Obviously, he has the extra game compared to Calvin Johnson, who currently holds the record.
Yeah.
He was close to it this year. He was on pace for it, I believe, late in the season. Yeah. End of it trailed off a little bit, but I'm going to sell on this one. I just think with the addition of Jordan Addison, I think that Kirk still, obviously, he's going to be the number one. I just don't know if he'll get as much love as last year with Thielen kind of declining a little bit. With the addition of some young talent, I think Jefferson will have a healthy. Yeah. And I think he'll have a healthy 1,800-yard season, but not 2,000.
Yeah, honestly, same thing. Like, I'm very high on Jordan Addison, and and he looked amazing at USC. Like, I was so glad that they drafted him. Like, I would not be surprised if he personally surpasses 1,000 yards in his rookie season. And it's not that Justin Jefferson isn't a player that doesn't have the caliber to cross 2,000 yards. It's the competition that he has on the field. Like KJ Osborne is,
Hawkinson as well,
and Hawkinson as well. They're very capable, receivers for Kirk Cousins, who Kirk actually relies on, during the third downs and during a lot of important plays. Like, I personally have seen TJ Hawkinson, there was a 36-point fantasy game that TJ Hawkinson had that was amazing, where Justin Jefferson had 10 or 11. But the point is, it's not that Justin Jefferson can't hit it; it's just the competition that he's playing with. So I'm selling. If I didn't say that.
I'm gonna continue with my contrarian views.
There you go.
So let's throw some numbers out there. Last year, Justin Jefferson, 128 receptions, 1,809 yards. So he was about 200 yards off. In his last two games, he had 15 yards and 38 yards. I think those are very, those are late in the season. One was a blowout game against the Packers. One was a game where they weren't trying against the Bears. I think those are situations where, should it come down to the wire, and the Vikings are fighting for playoff seeding or positioning, which I think they will, and it's going to be a competitive division, I don't think he has those games. I don't think he has the ability to have those games. There's some other duds in here that just randomly show up. He had a 14-yard game against Detroit earlier in the year, a 33-yard game against Dallas in a blowout. I just think if those games don't occur, and if later in the year they're incentivized to try and win these games and he's getting a lot more targets, I think it helps him. And I think it also helps that Jordan Addison, if anything, I think helps his cause. I would argue that Addison might be an improvement over Thielen. At least he's fresher, he's younger. And if he is an improvement, I honestly think that forces teams to lay off Jefferson a little bit more, and opens up things for him. So I think he can hit 2,000, especially with the extra game. But that could be very well a little ambitious.
But buy, sell, or hold, the Buffalo Bills will miss the playoffs this year. Really competitive AFC. And really competitive AFC East as well. I'm going to go first. I'm going to hold on this. I don't know. It's just, for me, the Bills, offensively, I think they'll be able to throw out some new stuff this year with Dalton Kincaid, their new tight end coming in. More 12 personnel, more 2 tight end sets with him and Dawson Knox. Do some different stuff with the offense. Offensive line worries me in a little bit. Deion Dawkins has regressed a little bit, and the interior wasn't that strong last year. And we really saw them get physically dominated in that playoff game against Cincinnati. Defense worries me a little bit. Those safeties are getting older. Tre'Davious White did seem to lose a step last year. And the pass rush, if Von Miller doesn't come back to full form, that pass rush, we saw it did lose a step without a healthy Von Miller.
That's true.
And Buffalo, Josh Allen, top 5 quarterback easily, but he's prone to mistakes sometimes, and he's not Superman. He's not Patrick Mahomes either. So for me, I think Buffalo is very much a 10-11 win team this year. I'm not sure if that gets them into the tournament, to be honest with you. With how competitive the AFC is looking to be this year. So I'm going to hold on this. I will say I think they're going to make it, but I'm not super confident in it.
Yeah, while Arjun was having this, while Arjun was talking, I very quickly, in an NFL schedule, predictor, I very, quickly, in 5 seconds, just went through what I would predict the Buffalo Bills to be, and it was literally 10-7. like it's right here.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even lying. It was 10-7.
We trust you.
Yeah, and
no one's coming for you.
But it is a very important question. Like I feel like back like a couple years ago, like 10-7 would be like, yeah, you'd make the playoffs. Like 10-6, you'd make the playoffs. But like now, like we were just talking about this before we got on the podcast. Like a lot of teams are very, very good,
especially in the AFC.
In the AFC, like I don't know if like I don't think if you go 9-8, you're making the playoffs. Like I think you have to go.
Yeah, I think you have to go 10.
You have to go 10-7. I don't want to copy Arjun, but I think I might have to hold as well, just because of the uncertainty about how good a team could be or how bad a team could tank. So either one of those possibilities, I think the Buffalo Bills, like they're amazing, but like they're very inconsistent and can have like some, forget it. But there are some times where they're the best team in the world, but there are some times where they're the most inconsistent team. So I'll hold.
All right. Well, this one hurts. This one hurts a lot. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make a decision unlike you guys. I'm just gonna hold. Camille, I'm sorry. Kate, I'm sorry.
Camille.
Who else should I be saying sorry to? Is that it?
Camille. Did you get Camille?
I got Camille. Yeah, Camille and Kate. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta buy this take. I mean, I did it too. I did the predictions too. I had them at 10-7. You guys know how much I love the Bills. I had them winning the Super Bowl last year. Okay, I love them. But Arjun, you hit on a lot of things. Their defense got worse. Offensive line got worse. Their receiving core we thought was going to be something really elite last year. Gabe Davis was not what we thought he was going to be, and Stephon Diggs can't shoulder the entire load. And when Josh Allen tries to shoulder that load, he makes mistakes. But all that being said, I think they would still be a playoff team if it wasn't for the schedule. I mean, to run you through really quickly, first of all, now you play the Jets twice and the Dolphins twice. All those games are incredibly hard now. Then you play the NFC East, which is the toughest.
Yeah, I think they'll split, but yeah.
No, they're not going to lose all of them. But again, those are tough games to win. Yeah. They take a toll. NFC East, you have to play the NFC East. That means you got to play the Giants, who are sneaky good. You got to play the Cowboys and the Eagles, two very, very good teams.
Yeah.
Then you got to play the AFC West, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos. Three teams that I think are going to be really good. And then because they were the first seed last year, because they won their division last year, they also drew the Bengals and the Jaguars, another two elite teams.
I mean, they're playing. I think if you put together a top 10 teams, they're playing the vast majority of them. I think
they are playing a lot of them, and another thing with the AFC is I think there's a lot of talent disparity. I think you'll see some teams who are really, really good finishing with above 10 wins, and then the others are going to be really, really bad because of just how big this talent disparity is. And I think because of that, if Buffalo can't hit 11 or 12, it's going to be really tough. And I find it tough. They can theoretically beat any team on the schedule, but putting it all together and getting 11 or 12 wins seems like a very, very tall task, which I hate to say.
Just looking at the schedule between week 9 and week 14, they played the Bengals, the Broncos.
No, go to week
the
16,
Jets,
dude.
The Eagles and the Chiefs. And then they play the Cowboys the week after.
And then the Chargers.
I mean, this is a gauntlet. You got one bye in the middle. I mean, look, I'm sorry, Bills fans. Like, it's, I think the Bills are a very likable team, but I just think this year it's going to be really tough. But now moving on to the next segment, let's talk fantasy football. We're in fantasy football season. By the time this goes up, you guys will have seen the On the Turf Fantasy League. Fill out the form to join it. We're excited to come back for a second year. We had a really good time last year. But let's talk about some of our loves and hates for this year. Right off the bat, fantasy drafting season is just getting started. We'll do some more content.
Yeah.
But let's talk about running backs, wide receivers, most important positions for fantasy football. So let's talk about the different running backs. Who do we love? I'll go first. I hated this pick in the draft, in the NFL draft this past year, but I love it for fantasy drafts this year. Jahmyr Gibbs looks like a really good pick this year for me. I think that Lions offense is going to be high flying. I think he gets all the PPR upside. David Montgomery, not really a passing back. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs has been running routes like a wide receiver in training camp. Yep. He's been playing with the ones. He's been showing out. And I think in a really talented offense, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him to score points. And having an ADP between rounds 3 and 4, I think that's a really good value for him. I think you can pick up a really solid RB2 with, I think, RB1 upside, really. I think that Lions offense is what we think it is. I really think he has RB1 upside. So I'm very confident in Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. speaking about like RB2, but potentially RB1 upside, I think like not to be like a Vikings like lover and like putting them out there, but Alexander Madison is someone that jumps to mind. Like not because like I think he's like a top 10 running back in the league. He could be. He's not right now. But it's just a value that you could get him at. Like right now he's going at round 4 and round 5. And I think whoever had Dalvin Cook, whenever you drafted him in fantasy, they almost always like draft like Alexander Madison because they know for a fact that Dalvin Cook would get injured for like a week or two, and they know for a fact that Alexander Madison would put up similar, like probably even more, just because his PPR upside is like super high as well. But now with Dalvin Cook, being released from the Vikings and Alexander Madison stepping into the RB1 role, I think the PPR upside, the passing attack, and the fact that they love to rely on their running back in the Vikings is probably a top 10 offense in the league as well. I think he has amazing upside, and I think going in round 4, like /5 in some leagues, it's such a lovable running back in terms of fantasy. So I'm going with Alexander Madison.
All right, my pick is going to be one of my favorites from last year, Miles Sanders. I love Miles Sanders here. So for context, in ESPN, his ADP is around 61 right now. That's the first pick in the 6th round for a 12-man league. I don't know. I think that's really low for what could very well turn out to be an RB2. Last year, Miles Sanders, I think he was severely hampered by the fact that he got vultured a lot at the goal line, first of all. Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. Trust me, I saw it. And Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Trust me, I saw it. I had Miles Sanders. They took away so many carries and so many touchdowns from him. On top of that, he wasn't a very heavy receiving back. They used their other running backs for that too. And despite all of that, he still finished with a pretty solid season. I think I'd call him an RB2. But I'm looking at him right now, and the first thing is he played every single game last year. Every single game except one, he had double-digit carries, which I think is really crucial to show that he has the ability to be that workhorse back. On top of that, throw him in a situation where he's not competing for the backfield. The only really, I think, viable running back other than him in Carolina Panthers backfield is Chuba Hubbard, and even Hubbard wasn't really that active last year. On top of that, throw in a rookie quarterback who doesn't have the most elite receiving core, and I think Sanders can become a 3-down back who is catching those passes now. Hubbard wasn't a pass-catching threat last year. He only caught 14 passes, and while Miles Sanders didn't do too much better, I think having him simply be that 3-down back will open up the field for him and open up receptions for him with checkdowns. I think that he can very well jump ahead of some of these running backs being drafted ahead of him. Najee Harris is being drafted ahead of him. Damian Pierce is being drafted ahead of him. Rashad White. I think he could very well be better than some of these just because of the hold he has over that Panthers backfield.
Yeah, when you said Miles Sanders, like I was always like the story about like him, like his usage being eaten up by Jalen Hurts or like other running backs. But like as we were talking, I like pulled up the Carolina Panthers like depth chart, and I saw the receivers, and like their wide receiver 1 is like DJ Chark, and then Adam Thielen, and then Jonathan Mingo, and potentially Laviska Shenault. So like when you think wide receiver 1s, you don't think of those names immediately, right? So
put some respect on DJ Chark's name, man.
I will, but like I can see like a lot of usage coming in. So I agree.
And also he's got his old coach or old offense coordinator Frank Reich coached him in Philly.
That's good. That's big.
So
yeah,
he knows how to do it well, I think too.
Yeah, and I think he'll also get those goal line touches now. You don't have anyone else to take him. You don't have Jalen Hurts doing his little QB sneaks. And I think that helps him a lot too for the touchdown dependency.
But now moving to running backs, we don't like at their value this year. This one hurts because this guy got. I think. Wait, did he? He got me to the finals in one of my leagues. Waiver wire pickup, end of the season. I remember I had a negative, or I was like 3-5. I went to 8-5 because I picked up this guy, a large part in it. Kenneth Walker took me to the playoffs and then to the finals last year. But I hate him this year. I really do. And this is not because I don't like. I really like the Seahawks this year as an offense overall. I think the addition of Jackson Smith and Jigba is a really good addition. Geno Smith is going to continue to turn up. The problem is the Seahawks drafted Zach Charbonnet from UCLA in the 2nd round this year. That makes it very much a 1-2 punch with Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker already, he was good in the passing game, but he got a lot of his points last year as a pure runner. Now adding Charbonnet in, that makes the touches a little bit muddier. I do think Kenneth Walker is still going to be a good player. I think he'll be very well in his role football-wise in the offense, but fantasy football-wise, drafting him in rounds 4 or 5 to be your RB2, when at best I think he's going to get you flex numbers and it's really going to be a game script kind of deal with him. I don't know. I don't love him as value just because I also think like he's going to get pushed up the draft board, I feel like, by the time people are drafting in September, just because he's a big name on a potentially high-flying offense. So, sorry, Kenneth. I'm sorry to do this.
My pick is actually in a good way. My pick is for like the good of the player. Like, that sounds really weird not to say it, but like it's Breece Hall, but going at like on average like at 51, which is like outside like after the 4th round. Like I think Breece Hall like in an Aaron Rodgers offense with like not mediocre wide receivers. Like Garrett Wilson is amazing. They have Corey Davis, Alan Lazard. I think that like any running back that you have with Aaron Rodgers has immediate PPR upside, and I think as an offensive line that is growing with an amazing head coach in Robert Saleh, I think that Breece Hall like needs to be like put like earlier, needs to be drafted earlier, like in the 3rd round, like early 3rd round.
Wait, so you love him?
What do you say?
You're supposed to hate this guy.
I'm hating.
You're supposed to not like his. You're supposed to think he should be. He's not where he's supposed to be.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, I fucked up then.
Okay, Rohan, you go first.
Yeah, I did.
Can you keep that in, please?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you keep that in?
Do you want me to keep it in?
Please.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Shri reboots. My hate is a guy. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very talented. I think he's gonna be a really important piece and what's gonna be a possible championship team. But it's Isaiah Pacheco from Kansas City. Right now, he's being drafted at 80. It's not a horrible spot. I mean, that's taking him in like early round set or late round 7. But my issue with Pacheco is that he is very subject to the whims of this Kansas City offense. We've seen time and time again he is not a receiving threat. If they're passing the ball, Pacheco becomes a non-factor, and it's all Jerick McKinnon. And Jerick McKinnon is back, and I think he will continue holding that role. Now, Pacheco has his good games where they do feed him the ball, but even then, I mean, I'm looking at his scores from last year. His highest scoring game was 16.2 points. That's something I would expect from maybe my flex. I mean, there was a stretch here from weeks 2 to 10 where he didn't clear 7 points. And he finished his season a little bit stronger, but again, I don't know how consistent he can be at that spot, especially when you have someone who is so rush dependent and provides minimal PPR value. On top of that, in ESPN at least, he's being drafted above players like James Cook, who could have control of his backfield, DeAndre Swift, who is the most talented running back in his crowded backfield, Javonte Williams, who's supposed to be the lead back, J.K. Dobbins, who's running back 1 for Baltimore. There's just a lot of players who below this, or even Khalil Herbert. A lot of players who are below this who I think provide more upside and have a bigger share of their backfield than Pacheco do. I think drafting him in 7th round is too high. Honestly, Pacheco's someone I'm avoiding entirely. I don't really want him unless he's really fallen to me later in the draft. It just feels like too big of a risk to take with someone who is really, really rush dependent in such a pass-heavy offense.
All right, Tree. Have you done your research? Did you prepare for today's episode?
No, I did. I did prepare for today's episode. I had it wrong though. You guys might hate me for this, but I actually think it's somewhat valid. I'm gonna hate on Derrick Henry.
Oh my god! Don't make this mistake, Tree.
Okay, so here's why, and I swear I'm not ageist or anything, but like the dude is almost 30 years old. When you think about running back value, you think about quarterback certainty. When a quarterback is healthy, when a quarterback knows what's going on, that's when you know that the running back is going to thrive. That's when you know the offense is going to thrive. In Tennessee right now, I have no idea what the quarterback situation is going to be. Like it could be Tannehill, it could be Malik Willis. Like you don't know. Like Tannehill, I don't know. But like my thing is like as a running back with like a lot of value, I think Derrick Henry. The only time, and I remember this because Arjun beat me with Derrick Henry was like a couple of years ago in the league, and that's when he hit his 2K. Like until he hits his 2K, I don't think it warrants a Derrick Henry like draft pick, like very early 2nd round, late 1st round. So I'm gonna hate on Derrick Henry. I think it's a little too early for him. I don't think he's gonna be able to replicate a 1,500-yard season this year because he's only done it 3 times in the past 4 years, but still.
Only 3 times in the past 4 years. I don't know about this one, Tree.
There's a little bit of uncertainty in Tennessee, and I think for a fact that Derrick Henry, unfortunately, he's getting a little older. Not to be ageist.
Look, all I'm going to say about Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry plays the Texans in weeks 15 and 17 this year.
Yeah.
And if you know Derrick Henry against the Texans, and you know weeks 15 and 17 are playoff weeks for you, I would suggest drafting Derrick Henry.
I would suggest trading for Derrick Henry maybe instead of putting all of your luck into the first 14 weeks. But anyways.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So now we're gonna finish up this segment next week. We'll talk wide receivers next week, and we hope those running backs helped you guys out. But now let's move on to the part I'm looking forward to. We love playoff predictions here. We love way too early playoff predictions here.
Yeah.
So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to first kick off with the NFC. Talk about our 7 NFC playoff teams right now as it stands this season. We've predicted the entire schedule, so these 7 teams are in order of what they would be according to our schedules. We'll do our AFC next week. But I can kick it off. My 1 seed, believe in this team. I'll always believe in this team as long as they have their coach. I have the San Francisco 49ers going 14-3, winning the 1 seed in the NFC and getting their bye.
I have the Philadelphia Eagles repeating again. Shout out to my friend Karam. I just have them going 13-4. This team is amazing, so that's my 1 seed.
Okay, I'll admit I struggle a bit with picking upsets this early. I tend to just pick the most talented team for almost every game. So on that note, I did pick the Eagles. I have them going 15-2, which I don't think is unrealistic. But yeah, they're going 15-2 in 1 seed.
Okay, my 2 seed's spicy. I think you guys are gonna like this one. All right,
I'm gonna hate this.
2 seed, I have at 11-6 the Dallas Cowboys winning the 2 seed in the NFC East.
No.
I'm confident in the Cowboys.
That sucks. Yeah. That stinks. That reeks, actually.
I would never be confident on the Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie. This is no matter what, I would never be confident on the Cowboys.
You think Dak Prescott?
Look, I hate Dak. I don't like. Okay, anyway, we'll talk about Cowboys later. Yeah, Sheree, go ahead.
Okay.
My 2 seed, I got the 49ers. Arjun's 1 seed. They're my 2 seed. The same reasons as Arjun, talented team.
What record?
12-5. 12-5.
Okay. This one I'm gonna get a lot of hate for. My 2 seed is tied with the 3 seed. Okay, there was just some tiebreaker that occurred, I guess, that made these guys the 2 seed. But going 13-4.
Is it gonna be the Vikings?
The Vikings.
What? Rohan, preach.
Listen.
Wait, what? Okay, 13-4 is crazy, but yeah, go for it, Rohan. I'm not with you.
They finished around. What did they finish last year? They finished 12-5, 13-4.
Yeah, 13-4. Yeah.
13-4. Yeah. I think they made slight improvements defensively. They got my guy Byron Murphy, so they actually got a quarterback for once.
Yeah, he's great.
Offensively, you added Jordan Addison. I think Justin Jefferson takes another step. Hawk is still there. Losing Dalvin Cook hurts. I think Madison is quite talented too. I think he can pick up the reins pretty easily. I don't know. I like this team a lot. I like the fact that they played their division 6 times a lot. I don't like the Lions, the Packers, or the Bears that much, frankly. And yeah, I'm running with the Vikings.
Let me remind you all, they went 11-0 in 1-score games last year.
Yeah, and I
think they'll do it again. I think they'll do it again.
They're
the law of averages says they have to regress a little bit. Okay, but 3 seed, I couldn't be happier to make this prediction. I have the Detroit Lions going 10-7, win the NFC North. Let's go Lions. I'm their biggest fan this year.
For my 3 seed, I have the Vikings going 10-7 as well. 13-4 sounds great to me, but I think some realistically,
that's not happening.
Hey, you never know, but especially in the NFL, you definitely never know. But I have them going 10-7 as my 3 seed. I'm glad Rohan had them as their 2nd seed.
My 3 seed, I've waited a bit too long for these guys, is the Niners, also 13-4. Again, some tiebreaker occurred there, but the Niners
3 teams going 13-4. Or 2 teams, 13-4. 1 team.
Yeah, 15-2.
15-2. Nice.
Again, I struggle with upsets, okay, guys?
All right. 4th seed, this one's fun. Obviously, NFC South, I think all of us have that.
Yeah.
I have another negative team winning at 8-9. I have the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young takes the Panthers to the playoffs. 8-9 though, so it's not an amazing record. But I think I have the Saints at 8-9 as well. I think the Panthers won the tiebreaker though.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that you were going to go with the Saints as well, but I have the Saints going 8-9. I trust Derek Carr. Like I feel like
trust him to win 8 games.
I trust him to win 8 games, and I don't trust like the consistency of any of the other teams in the conference in the division. So I'm going with the Saints also at 8-9.
I'm with Arjun here. I'm picking the Panthers at 9-8.
Big upgrade.
Big upgrade. I think it's their defense that does it for me.
Yeah.
I think their defense is the best in their division, which helps a lot. And as we said a lot, I think they might have the most talented quarterback in their division too. So I'm going with the Panthers.
All right, 5 seed. This is a team I really love and I'm really high on for this year. I think this could be one of the best, if not the best, offense in football. I think the Seattle Seahawks, 11-6. I'm really confident in them this year. I think the defense gets better. I think the offensive line gets better. I think Gino continues to.
Did you forget about Philadelphia?
I'm really confident in them.
So, wow.
Did you forget about Philadelphia?
Philadelphia's coming. They're coming.
Why not yet?
Are they at least making the playoffs?
No, they are. They're there. They're right there. They're right next.
Okay.
They're next after this.
So for my 5 seed, I have the Cowboys. I have them going 11-6. I just feel like the Cowboys are like you make the playoffs, first round exit or second round exit, nothing past that obviously. So Cowboys going 5th seed, 11-6, solid record as usual. So Dallas for the 5.
Yep, same thing. Got the Cowboys the 5 seed, solid record. They're going 12-5. I don't know what Arjun is smoking with the Seahawks at 5. I think that's an insanely awful take.
That is a jump.
No. I actually can't let that one slide. I can't let that one slide. I don't know how. I don't know in what world. I don't know what world you saw the Eagles doing worse than the Seahawks.
They're 11-6.
I don't know.
They're also 11-6. They just win the title.
But then you should have shifted something, man. Because I don't know. That one seems a bit crazy to me.
Okay, I guess I'll just go 6 seed. I had the Eagles 11-6. The Super Bowl hangover is real, guys. They lost players. I just think there's going to be a little bit of regression here. They played maybe the worst array of quarterbacks I've ever seen last year. They have a much tougher schedule this year. I think 11-6 is a good record for the schedule they have.
Yeah.
And I think that they're still going to be a very good competitive team. I think Jalen Hurts is going to continue to get better. I just think it's a slightly weaker team against a much better schedule.
Yeah. For my 6th seed, this is a team that I just genuinely have respect for what they've been able to do over the past 2 years with a Jared Goff who has actually played amazing. My Detroit Lions,
Ryan Goff
at number 6, I had them with the same record as the Vikings. They're both going 10-7, but I think however the tiebreak worked out, I have the Vikings at 3, Detroit at 6 was pretty fair, I think. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll preface with the fact that I do unfortunately have top-heavy rankings. I don't pick upsets that much. I have the Giants at 6, going 11-6.
11-6 at 6 is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of success from the NFC.
Giants are good, man. Giants are good. I mean, I think Danny Dimes takes another step. I think Darren Waller's a huge addition. They got a nice array of mid-wide receivers that I think can get something going. I like him. I like him at 6.
I don't know. That didn't seem. You don't seem terribly confident in that take, Rohan.
That was less confident than my Derek Henry fantasy football.
Okay, I stand by the Giants in 6. I just think 11-6 might have been a little bit of a stretch. But I do stand by the Giants at 6. I think they are the 6th best team in this division. They proved it last year, and I think they'll continue to get better. And Daniel Jones will continue to get better as well. I think that's the most important part for them.
All right, 7 seed. I have the Minnesota Vikings sneaking in at 9-8. I think their defense really sucks. I don't think they did enough to address it. I really think it's still bad. They brought in Brian Flores at least, so maybe a little bit better. Yeah. I think the offense is still gonna really continue to carry them. And after I've been watching Netflix's quarterback, I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy now. I think he's just so likable. So this is the first time you'll catch me slightly rooting for the Vikings. So, I think they'll sneak in at the 7th seed.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that On the Turf has this, kind of affinity for the Vikings. This is great.
I like Kirk Cousins.
Okay. At number 7, I have the Giants. I feel like the offense can still get better. Like, they haven't hit their potential. I think that they can still keep going. I think that defense is still amazing. And even though, yes, they're in a tough division, a 10-7 record that I had them at number 7, I think it's pretty fair for them. This is a team, if I could hold on a team, it would be for this team. They could either go 9-8, 10-7, but I had them at 7, and I think it's pretty fair. So that's my number 7, New York Giants.
All right, and my 7 is, don't worry, I didn't forget them, the Detroit Lions going 9-8, sneak in at the 7. They edge out the they edge out the Packers, the Seahawks, the Rams for me, and pick up that last spot.
Guys, I'm really scared. I hope we don't curse the Lions. And I hope everyone around the world doesn't curse the Lions with all the hype this year. That's the one team where, if it's not the Steelers, they'll just genuinely be sad if they don't make it, and if they flounder off all the hype this year, they deserve it, I think.
So if that were to happen, right? The Lions don't make it, would you have then the Giants making it?
I think my next team would be the Saints at 8-9. I have the Saints, the Giants, and the Packers all in a 3-way tie for 8-9.
Oh, okay.
The Giants at 8-9, bro. What?
Okay, the Giants. If you want to talk about the Giants, look, I like Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley's back, but Darren Waller's a very often injured, older tight end. And I don't know if they did enough to improve the receiving core. I also think Daniel Jones got a little bit lucky last year. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's as good as we saw in that Vikings playoff game. I think there's going to be some regression there. I think they'll be fine. I just think that there's going to, just like the Vikings last year, I think there's going to be a little bit of regression for them.
Okay.
But finally, let's pick. You don't need to go through the whole bracket. Let's talk about just our one NFC contender right now, who we think is going to represent them in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go last because I feel like you guys are going to really hate my take.
If he said the Lions last year,
I'm not going to say the Lions. Okay, but Rohan, why don't you kick it off, and Tree, then I'll end it off.
Okay, I'm going to stick to my guns. I picked them at 15-2 for a reason. The Eagles go back.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
This team, shut up. This team is too talented. They have literally everything you could ask for. Top 3 receiving core, top 3 quarterback, top 5 tight end, top 10 running back, maybe top 10 running back, maybe top 10 running back group headed by DeAndre Swift. Top 3 offensive line. Look at the defensive side. Top 3 defensive line. You made some really good additions on defense too. They got Javon Carter, right? They got Javon Carter with their first round pick. Jalen Carter. Javon Carter's a basketball player. They got Jalen Carter with the first round. I think that's a huge addition. You still got Darius Slay. You still got who's their safety? They still have Bradbury, or Bradbury's the other corner, right? So they got Bradbury.
Yeah.
So they got Bradbury. I mean, listen, there's so much talent on this team. I don't know what Arjun's talking about. In terms of talent loss, I think whatever talent they lost, they easily recouped. And there's just too much going right for this team for them to not clearly be the best team in the NFC.
I think last season we also asked this question.
Yes, and all of you guys predicted Bills Rams, and I'm telling you,
I predicted Vikings Broncos.
Oh God.
Okay. I actually might go Vikings. I know the defense is horrendous, and Rohan, you have them going 13-4. Don't even make that face.
They're a regular season. Whoa! They're a regular season team. They're a regular season team. They're not a playoff team. Not a playoff team. I never said they were a playoff team. I never claimed they were a playoff team.
No, I'm looking at the team. I'm actually having trouble going with actually choosing a team because it's the same teams. Not the same. No.
I think it's not. I'm just gonna spoil it. I think this is very clearly a 3-team race for the NFC.
Well, it's obviously the Eagles and the 49ers that I feel are vying for the race, and maybe the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, the Cowboys are the third team in this race. The Vikings aren't there, buddy. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just I would say the Vikings, but
if you believe in it, say it. We're not going to silence your opinions here.
Yeah, you know what? I'll stick to my guns. I'll go with the Vikings. Offense is up there. Justin Jefferson. I know I said he wouldn't hit 2K, but in the postseason he would hit the 2K. So, forget it. I'm gonna go with the 49ers. I'm just gonna be safe. Better safe than soccer. Sorry, right? So I'll go with the 49ers just for this one. Talented team all around. I think they're one of the teams that have managed to actually take like a mid quarterback surrounded with amazing talent and take them far. So I think I'll give them that credit. And who knows, maybe Trey Lance gets better. So, wait, is he still on the phone?
I mean, he is, but I think Purdy's very clear.
Yeah, so. Purdy. So, I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think it's a safe pick. But, yeah, potentially the Vikings. You never know.
All right.
Arjun, I swear to God, if you say the Cowboys, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
I was about to say the Cowboys.
Okay, hear me out. Cut the podcast. This is worse than the Vikings.
Hear me out. This is not worse than the Vikings take.
It's not worse than the Vikings take, but it's pretty bad.
Okay. Can I provide some reason here? Can I be given?
Wait, we don't silence our opinions either. So.
Okay. Defense. They have, outside of TJ Watt, I'd say the most dominant edge rusher in the game, most dominant defensive player in the game, in Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Micah Parsons changes the game. They add Mozzie Smith to that interior defensive line, first-round pick. You got Trayvon Diggs. You got Stephon Gilmore now, too. You got a really good corner.
I've never heard you defend Trayvon Diggs.
Gilmore train like ever.
But yeah. I'm just saying this is a really good corner duo now. This is a good corner duo, and I think Trayvon Diggs. I give him shit sometimes, but I think he's a pretty as number one corners go. He's definitely in the top 10. That's defensively, and defensively they are going. I think they're going to be a top 3 unit. They played really well last year. That defense kept them in the game against San Francisco. It played really well. The offense, Dak Prescott threw a lot of picks last year. I'll give you that. I think he's going to be better this year, and I think I think the Brandon Cooks trade is a really great move for them. They get Brandon Cooks. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have Michael Gallup. He'll be rested off of injury now. That's a really good receiving core. Tony Pollard, I think, is just going to get better as that running back. The offensive line, I think Tyler Smith was a really good pick. Zach Martin, he's holding out right now, but I think he'll come back. The only thing that holds me back a little bit on the Cowboys is the play calling. Yeah. Kellen Moore went to the Chargers. Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer are now calling plays. Not sure how I feel about that, but I just think, I think we're destined for a Cowboys-Niners NFC Championship. I think I just feel like Brock Purdy. I love Brock Purdy. I love the Niners. I love the Niners roster. I just don't know if they're a Super Bowl team. I don't know if they scream Super Bowl to me yet.
Really?
Right now, the Cowboys scream to me that they have everything around them. I think Dak Prescott can be the quarterback that takes them there. If Jimmy Garoppolo can get to a Super Bowl and get within a Super Bowl multiple times, I think Dak Prescott can do it as well.
Okay, so I can't disagree with anything that you said outright.
Right,
but
because I'm right.
No, yeah. But I feel like you're ignoring the fact that if there is any team that would mess up.
I know, but you're just I'm giving you actual reasons.
Yeah, but
I agree. The Cowboys always screw up.
The Cowboys have always had reasons to win the Super Bowl, but they've always had reasons to screw up as well. If there's any team that's gonna mess it up, it's gonna be the Cowboys. The patterns are there. It's been
this is the weakest the NFC has been in a long time. I really think the NFC is really weak right now, and this is the year the Cowboys can take it.
Look, I agree. The players are there, but no, you mentioned it yourself. The play calling has been a very apparent issue, even without even with Kellen Moore. So I don't know, but you know what? I don't really have a great reason to actually hate on the Cowboys right now. But I think them beating the Cowboys and doing things the Cowboys way is just a good enough reason to say that they won't make it to the Super Bowl.
Rohan? So Arjun, here's my thing. Okay. A few months ago, we had a discussion like this, okay? And actually, I pulled up the exact episode. It was episode 21 with Graham, all right?
Yes.
There's a headline here. We said, it says, is the Dallas loss on Dak? Okay? I said it wasn't. I said it wasn't on Dak. And you were hell-bent that Dak is the issue with this Cowboys team. You're hell-bent on the fact that Dak is the reason this Cowboys team won't win. And here's the thing. I disagree. I still disagree. I think Dak can lead this team. I think he can be good. I think he'll lead them back to the playoffs. But this is just me pointing out the insane switch up on your behalf. I mean, in a few months of a span, a team adds Brandon Cook, and then all of a sudden Dak Prescott's God. Dak Prescott's a Super Bowl quarterback. I mean, it's just a little bit of a stretch to me.
Actually, yeah. Wait, Rohan. Like, I see your
Okay,
point.
do I think Kirk Cousins is a Super Bowl quarterback? No, but I think if Kirk Cousins played on the Niners, he would probably make the Super Bowl. That's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll have part 2 of our fantasy picks, loves and hates for wide receivers next week. We'll have our AFC playoff predictions, which AFC, that's going to be fun because I think there's going to be a lot of teams that fall out, and I think we're going to have some fun next week with that. Make sure to sign up for our fantasy league if you're interested. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in the league last year, and we'll aim for a draft date kind of end of August, beginning of September, closer to the season starting. Make sure to check out our Instagram. We'll be putting out some content as the season approaches as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Shribam Khanda.
And I'm Rohan Patel.
And we'll see you next week on the turf.